Well, welcome back to Soda City Live. A simple mistake can cost you everything, including your freedom, something we all take for granted. Now, our next guest has turned one of the hardest lessons in his life into a teachable moment and is not allowing his past to define him. In fact, he's using his experience to encourage youth today so that they won't have to learn the hard way like he did. Joining me today is Jamori Smith, who is a youth motivational speaker, gang intervention specialist, and founder of Rise and Shine Inspirations. Jamori, so glad to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, I'm sad because this is something that happened to you, but I'm happy for what it birthed and what it kind of sparked in you. So for our viewers, can you tell them a little bit about your story and how you ended up incarcerated?
Well, just in a nutshell, at the age of 16, I was, arrested and later on incarcerated for armed robbery, sentenced to 10 years. So we talking from 2008 to 2016, which, you do 85% of the time because it's a violent charge. My experience there, kind of transitioned my thinking, the things I, went through. And on the other side of that, I just made a commitment to, what better way than quote unquote serve your debt to society than to actually, help the next generation. I realized, my decisions and, the things that I went through at a younger age was largely due to limited information, not understanding that, I had other opportunities, things of that nature. And, I say who better than to actually go and help, youth, whether they are in trouble. We want to do preventative measures, but who better than somebody who actually been through it? I'll say as of September 2022, I entered Camp Aspen. That's another DJJ facility for the more, the guys who are going home soon or, have lower custody levels. And I've been working with those guys, and it's been a great experience. I'm working with from anywhere from 25 to 30 young men, ages 13 to 18. And, I can say, like, the impact is there, the relationship and bond. And, I realize, young people, they spell, love T-I-M-E. And the time that I've been putting in, with them and, the information I'm bringing, opportunities, my biggest thing to them, and I let them know this, is to make sure that upon their release, they have a plan. You want to save every single soul that you can possibly save. So my thing is, what better than to give them the tools that they need, now stepping back into life, having that second chance, being in any type of facility where we're talking about incarceration, it can be eye-opening. It's an awakening experience. It's a whole lot of downtime. It's a whole lot of thinking that goes on. And I get in with them and I have those serious conversations about, family life before being arrested. And, it's kind of like an eye-opener for them to see, like, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to take a better path, and everybody, their family situation is probably not always the best, but just giving them, information about, what life could be. I watch how impactful and inspiring it is. So if nothing else, like, that's where I find my joy at, watching that spark come on in a young mind and them actually being willingly to, pursue some type of change.
Now, what are some of the things that you talk about with the youth? And you also have an organization, Rise and Shine Inspirations, and I want us to kind of talk about that as well.
Honestly, stepping into DJJ, I actually created a program curriculum around my first book. And the book, what's entitled Young Hitter's Handbook, and it's the language of the youth. Young Hitter's Handbook. As you can see, it's a guide to success and respect. So it's basically 6 chapters long. We understand the attention span of our youth nowadays. So it's 6 chapters long, just a handbook, self-help book, and each chapter I have a class, on. So 6 chapters, 6-week program. We get in, we introduce them to, it's more perspective, along with me, kind of sharing knowledge about, society and self-identity, things of that nature, just to be able to transform their mind. And, like I said, it was really rooted from scripture that stuck with me throughout my journey. And it's be ye not conform to the ways of the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I know the only way to renew a mind is to put in new knowledge, good positive knowledge, you know. So that's the gist of like the programs, but it leads to financial literacy. We get into speaking about credit, just actually bringing them the knowledge that's going to lead them to success.
What advice would you have to someone that's watching, that might be watching from prison or jail, either DJJ or a prison?
All right.
What advice would you have for them?
Let me say it like this: have every reason to fail. Coming from broken homes, mother with drug issues, my father not being present, being deceased since I was the age of 3, dropping out of high school, the experiences in prison, the violence. I'm still scarred up now from my experience, and every reason to fail, but just so committed because I knew the Creator put something in me. During my transition, being exposed to situations that I shouldn't have coming out alive, it showed me that a hand was over me the whole time.
Jamori, your story is so inspiring, and I hope again to have you on the show. But I do want to share one fact. Jamori and I went to high school together, and I remember we had a class, and Jamori would cut up like we all did at 15 and 16 years old, cutting up. And I remember you got called on, and you knew the answer. It was like, Jamori can cut up, but he knew the answer. And, when Jamori went away, of course, we all heard the news in school, and we talked about it, and we've talked about this before, but all I can remember is I was like, man, Jamori is so smart. And to see where you are now, coming out of the situation you came out of, I'm not surprised that you are doing what you're doing, because it's always been in you. So good job. I'm proud of you. Keep going. And again, all these details on our website, WISTV.com.